All right.
I
Shall
feel
we?
anxious.
You.
Yeah, you're looking at you. Would you be anxious?
Yeah, you just got to answer the questions. Easy peasy. All
Oh.
right. What got you into barbering and what's kept you in it?
So I would say what got me into it, well, I started hairdressing in the industry, hairdressing, and then I went to barbering. Because I got asked to open up a barber shop, which was good. That was fun. I didn't really realize that I would like I'd never barbering wasn't big, so the hype wasn't around it as much. It's not even something I even thought about. It didn't even like cross my mind. I enjoy cutting like guys in the salon, but I didn't really think much about like, oh, I'm just gonna be a barber. But then I did it and loved it. It's so fun. What's kept me in it would probably be the money. No, I'm kidding. Oh, no, is I would say working for myself, now. I probably, if I'm being honest, I probably wouldn't continue. I've been in it for 13 years. I probably wouldn't if I worked for someone else, the money doesn't pay enough. I probably wouldn't do it. I enjoy it and I love it a lot, but it doesn't pay good. So I like now that I get to form a lot more relationships. Working for yourself, I feel like you have a lot more respect as well from people. You're not just a barber. And I feel like that's a big thing in this industry. So I feel like what kept me in it was starting my own shop, obviously getting rewarded for the skill set that I have, getting to form like nice, respectful relationships with everyone. People value you. That's probably what.
Do you remember the first time you cut like a guy's hair and you're like, this is all right?
Like it was good.
Yeah.
Um,
Or like the
do
moment.
I remember one time when I first started in the industry, and like I get this question all the time in the chat, like, what's like one of the worst things you've done? So this guy came in for a haircut, and he had like African hair, and he wanted like a 2 on top. And like because of like now I always religiously hold, I don't care what clipper guard you have, if they're so good and secure, I'll hold the bottom of it because I put the 2 on and went over, and because it was like African hair, it just went 0 straight through. So to be honest, I wouldn't say it's one of the cuts that I'm like, oh wow, that was so cool. That was probably the worst cut I've done.
It's serious. You did that so.
Yeah, I did that. I was an apprentice, yeah. Yeah, and then I got my boss, and honestly, he laughed in the guy's face because he was like, "This is fucked. Like, we can't fix this. Like, you've got to shave it off." Yeah,
Yeah,
so that was
nice.
nice.
Also, just so you know, I'm gonna try and because whenever I talk now, it's on there as well.
Yeah.
So I'll try and talk less,
Mhm.
but just so you know, I'm not like just being quiet for no reason. All right. Do you think personality plays a big part in your success?
Yeah, for sure. I think like it's good to have the skills, but once you have the skills, that only gets you so far. Like I had someone who worked for us when I ran the barber shop. I had a lot more skills than that person in particular. And I remember this guy coming in going, "Oh, I want this person," and I'm like, "Oh, like that person's like, yeah, like I can cut your hair," like knowing that damn well I have a way more experience than her. But he just said, "No, no, 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 I only want this person." And I think that was a one good like light bulb time where I'm like, wow, like it's about forming that relationship. So you've got to vibe with someone. Oh, there's only one Shania, there's only one you. Like, I'm not going to be for everyone, nor do I want to be. But I think you'll attract the clients that are meant for you. So your personality definitely comes into it. Yeah.
Is your personality in this area something that you've had to work on, or
Um,
that comes
Not
naturally?
really. I think it comes naturally. I think the one thing I was actually driving home last week, and it was just a really big week and during life it's happening. It's one of them weeks where you just didn't want to show up, but you push through anyway. And I was driving, and it's so funny how like I feel like so many people like they will come in, and because I'm such an open person, like if anything, overshare, completely overshare, no boundaries whatsoever. And I don't care. I'm never ashamed of any of my past mistakes or anything. So I'm pretty open. So I feel like because I am like that, depending on the mood that I'm in, people think they know me. So it's like, it's funny, like you'll sit in the chair for 10 minutes and yeah, like that part is real. Like that is a part of me, but there's so many layers to a person. So I feel like people think like, oh, like that's who you are. It's like, you don't even know me. Like you think you know me, but you don't know me. If that makes sense, because I've just got a million personalities. I dated my ex last year and he actually said, he's like, I should write a book and it will be on your 21 personalities. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not even going to be offended. Like it's true. I feel like there's just so many layers to a person. So yeah.
Great. If your brand was a person, how would you describe their vibe?
I would say honest, loyal. They're like my two big things. Like I feel like if I don't, whether it's friendships, business, like if I don't fuck with it, I don't fuck with it. And I never ever, I would never sell something I don't like agree with. I would never stock something like just, and I could never. I think I had to have too much ego and pride to let someone walk out with a shit cut. I would just say I'm a really honest person. So like obviously we've all lied and we've all like wanted to beat around the bush, especially when it's confront something that's confronting us. But I would just say very honest, loyal, yeah, and genuine. I would just say genuine, yeah.
Perfect. Do you think clients come for the haircut or the conversation?
Well, one of my clients last week said he just comes for the vibes. He said your haircuts are shit. No, he didn't. No, he said they're good, but he said like you make me feel really comfortable, and I love coming here. Thanks, Christian.
Shout out. What's one misconception people have about barbers?
I would just like the whole just like that's what they do. Like you cut hair. I just feel like you're just placed in a box, literally just as a barber in general. Like you're like people understand like, oh, you've got to have the vibes, like, yeah, bro. And it's like, oh yeah, cool. So it's like, yeah, cool, they're fun and they're good at talking to people. But it's like there's so much more than that when they leave. Like I cut your hair, but when you leave, like I'm still me. Does that make sense? And that's how it goes back to like, oh, like how would you describe yourself? Like people think they know you, but they don't. It's like, and even if what you are showing them is 100% genuine, but it's only such a tiny fraction of who you are. So I just feel like as a barber in general, you're just really place like, you just cut hair. Like if I said to you like, oh, what do you do? I'm a barber. Oh yeah, cool, you cut hair. Do you like cutting hair? Like it's all just about cutting hair. So I just feel like you're placed in a box. So that's what I would say.
Do you want to like break the box a bit, I guess?
Yeah, well, I would just say my one thing moving forward when I go to expanding and having staff is just showing people that they can be more than that. Like I said, like I probably wouldn't stay in this industry if I worked for someone else. Nothing to do with employees, nothing like that. It's just the money. And it's like you work so hard perfecting your skills. The world is freaking expensive. It's not even about like the living crisis or anything. It's literally about like I want to live a good life. So and that costs money because I like nice things. So it's like I would love to show other people that they can have so much more than that. And you don't have to just freaking be rushed in a walk-in barbershop where you're just rushing around. Hurry up, that's taking too long and it's about numbers. Like imagine being able to take your time, form them awesome relationships and get paid really well to do so. Like I think that is really cool to show people that they can be so much more than just that. It's cool.
Yes, sweet. How do you want people to feel after leaving your chair?
With big dick energy. No. Honestly, I want them to feel really good.
You said that before, so.
That's honestly from a client because he says every time he leaves here, he had big dick energy. So now I've stolen his little phrase. But I just want them to feel really good. Relax is also a good thing. Like life is busy. I'm feeling it right now doing this. I was like, I'm not in the mood, but it's like life is busy and it like how nice to just stop for a minute. Whether it's you don't talk to me and you relax if that's what you want to do, or we just have an absolute laugh about dumb crap. And then you leave feeling physically good about yourself as well. I think it's just relaxed and ready to take on the day.
Very nice. What's a limiting belief you've had when you first started that you had? Hang on, I'll do it again. What's I can't even talk now. What's a limiting belief you had when you first started that you had to push through?
Honestly, for me, it's always been about money. It's always been lack of because I grew up like that. So all these cool things, like I've always known, like I'm meant for more, I can do more. Like I've always known this. I've always had that confidence. And I know that if I got given the opportunity, I got given the chance, I'll fucking smash it. That's never been the question. It was how I'm going to get them doors open, if that makes sense. So it's always been the lack of money. I don't really have people that I could just call and be like, hey, I effed up, I made a wrong decision, I need some money, can you help me? I don't really have those people in my life. So I would say the limiting beliefs about just this, like the money side of it, because when you haven't had it, even if you then do start to get it, and I know that last year I started making more money, lived a good life, I had fun, but there's such a ripple effect. It's like you know, you make silly money choices, you pay for it later. You don't see it in the time. But so even when you start getting money, is being able to keep it. So I would say that's probably was always the money lack, like the mindset behind money was kind of what scared me into going.
Was there like, or do you remember a moment where it was like, nah, this sucks. Like, this money sucks working for someone. I'm just going to start my own thing.
I feel like it never started like that. And when I did it, it was never for money. I've always said that I wanted to work for myself. And it actually wasn't really about money. Like, obviously, I knew you'd be really successful, make money, but that was never actually, I always wanted my own shop. I always wanted to do my own thing, like leadership. I've always loved leadership. And then when I moved to Townsville, I worked for someone else. I actually loved it. To be honest, that was probably the first place outside of my old boss from Mount Isa, was probably the first place where I was like, you know what, like I didn't even actually care about starting my own shop. It was until I had my kid that we fell out. So I knew I wasn't going to return back there. And then I was actually going to leave and do eyelash extensions. To be honest, I started doing it like the training at home, and then got offered to rent out of the shop, and then it kind of just like fell like into that. And then I guess that goes back into what I said about the, like when the limiting beliefs, like, oh, maybe like it will never happen for me, like kind of like the self-pity of like, you've never had it, so it's like, oh, it's never gonna happen for me. But that's a good example of, well, something opened and like you can have it as well. Do you know what I mean? So it's like you've got to break free from the cage. Like you might have been placed in a box from when you're younger going, this is all you're going to be this way. But like you're now an adult. So that's up to you whether you want to stay in that. Like you can actually be like, okay, I'm going to hop out of this box. I'm going to start creating my own opportunities. Yeah.
And is that like being like an adult and creating your own opportunities something that you want to give to other people?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like it's just showing that when I look into what I'm like right now in my business, if I think about what really makes me happy, and I was having these conversations with my business coaches, is what really makes me happy. Like I've done barbering for so long, don't hate it, still love it. It's great, but it's obviously quite a repetitive thing. But when I see what really brings me joy now, will seriously be like mentoring or passing that and inspiring other people to do the same. And like just anyone who wants to, because it's a choice, you've got to make the decision. Like I don't want to just be that, but is like showing them and encouraging them to do more and have more. Like it's exciting, and I feel like so true. Like when you see people who are really bitter and hurtful, you'll never find someone who's successful or happy trying to bring you down. Does that make sense? So I feel like when you really find happiness within yourself, you actually get excited, and you're like, you want to encourage others to do the same because it's exciting to be in that place. So I have to pass that on to other people. I think that's what I really want to do, whether that's growing a team or mentoring other people. Not sure yet, still figuring all that out. But the team is a yes, that's happening. But it's just like trying to get everything aligned. But I feel like that's where I'll feel so much purpose and get so much value out of.
Very nice. Have you ever felt imposter syndrome behind the chair?
What does that mean?
It's one of your questions. Like, imposter syndrome's like,
Is that when you like self-sabotage?
well, it's like you don't deserve this.
Oh,
like
fucking hell.
you're
Yeah.
like, don't feel like you're up
You're
to
worthy.
this job.
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
Honestly, this is a real thing, actually. You can keep the whole, like, is that what it is? Because I feel like that shows my personality. But I think that is a real thing. Do you know, and I was having this conversation, you go through waves of like, I'll do a haircut and I'll like fuck around with the boys and I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm so good. Oh, look at that haircut. Like, I'm so good. But there is so many times, obviously you don't say that to a paying client, but there is so many days where you kind of just like lose it for a bit and you're like, fuck, am I shit? Like, am I losing my touch? Like, am I crap? Like, you're just feeling a bit off. And then but it's funny. You just got to ride the wave because then it always comes back around and then you're like, fuck yeah, I'm so good again, you know, but that is real. Like, there's so many times where you just feel like, oh, like, am I a fraud? Am I not actually who I say I am? People look at me and go, oh, you're doing such a good job. You're raising 2 kids, you know, oh, you've got a successful business, all this crap. And it's like, you see the ins and outs of your business. Like, you can play a big front, but when you look at your numbers or whatever, and they're not where you want them to be, even though they're a lot better than what they used to be, it's like sometimes you feel like people hold you up here and you're like, am I actually just a fraud? And like, because you don't feel worthy or you don't feel as confident in yourself.
Well, that is imposter syndrome.
There you go. So I guess we've learned something new today. So no, don't try and be, don't know. I'm like anything with like any of that type of stuff we're not gonna do.
You don't have to do this one if you don't want to, but what's one of the hardest parts about balancing life outside the shop with the hustle inside of it?
Yeah. Well, I just did this little interview getting off the phone to something about my son and just regarding some of the things that he's going through. So I feel like the hardest thing is just bloody juggling 2 children on your own. Having to show up last week was honestly one of them weeks where I was just like, I'm actually don't want to like I don't want to be here. It was nothing to do with work as such, but it's just like I just don't feel like doing it. But it's funny, it's the things that you have to overcome. Like I also now know that self-sabotaging, like it was early in the year, I went through some crap last year and I was really struggling. I started notice that I was self-sabotaging. And I had to say to myself, like literally, Shania, the only person you're hurting is yourself. Like I reap all the consequences. Like I'm only literally hurting myself. No one else is having to live the consequences for my choices. And it was that moment where I'm like, wow. And then last week it was like, okay, well, I can cancel my week or I can have a like poor me day, which I'm entitled to. That's fair. But it's like, then I don't make no money. So I feel like shit. I've been lazy, probably ate shit food, feel like crap. So it's like, where does that get me? So like last week, as much as I just wanted to feel sorry for myself, I just pushed through, made money. Yay. But do you know what I mean? So it's like you've got to
Yeah.
think, but I feel like the hard thing is it's just life. I think we're all struggling outside of this, whether you have a business or you don't. But I think it's just being one person and taking on heats. And on the phone call that I just had, I was just talking to him and he's like, I feel like you're juggling a lot, like blah, 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 blah. He told me, don't start dating probably until your youngest is in school. You sound like you have a really busy life. But it's just, yeah, it's hard. But you just got to keep going.
Last week, when you had the opportunity to feel sorry for yourself and take time off and do
Mm.
whatever, and you did push through, did you feel better afterwards?
Yeah, definitely feel better. I was so exhausted though. I feel like, and this is what the phone call again, he's like, you sound really burnt out. And like that is a real thing. And you hear about it all the time. You see it on social media. Oh, mental burnout and like all this crap, like people trying to coach you and stuff. And it's more just about the word burnout. And I feel like I know what it is, but I'm really feeling it at the moment. So I feel like the best thing about it is I think that accomplished like pushing through. So you have that sense of self-achievement that like, yep, okay, I did something I didn't necessarily want to do. Mind you, did I feel extremely exhausted? Yes, I did. So then I spent the whole weekend like kind of like self-isolating because I just felt so mentally drained because I'm just like, I am probably in need of some time away. But then it's like, when do you get the chance to do that? Not sure.
Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. So we just gotta keep going. I feel like you feel better though, because you're like, you know what? Like it's if I sit there and feel sorry for myself, I'm gonna probably spend money. I'm gonna eat, like I said, eat shit. I'm not gonna move my body, so I'm gonna feel crap, and it's not gonna be anywhere closer to feeling good. Like I'm actually gonna feel worse. So you just gotta keep that in mind and just push on because it gets better. Ride the wave.
Ride the wave. Well, this is a well-timed question, I guess. Was there ever a moment you thought about giving it all up, and what pulled you back?
I feel like you have them times a fair bit. So one big one would be when I first started. There was like I thought, and I'm happy to share this openly. I thought when I was making, one of my busy weeks was like I was making $1,100. I thought that was really good. Um,
That is
but
good.
okay, yeah, that's good. That was not what I make now, thank God. But that's what I thought. That was my busy week, and I thought that was fantastic. But there was so many times that I was like, I cannot afford rent. Like, holy shit! Like, there was so many times I'm like, am I actually gonna have to stop this and go and get a job? Like, is this actually something that I can keep going just financially? Because I didn't have money in the bank, living week to week, barely week to week. Like, there was times I'm like crying, how am I paying rent? Especially with 2 kids. But then I just had to try and have faith, keep going. Thank God I did. And then I feel like there's also times like now where you're at that really like the burnout stage or that transitional, you're just like, oh, like, do I want to keep doing this? Oh, maybe I don't want to barber. Maybe I want to try something else. But it's like, it's not that I don't like barbering. I love it. And I think it's just recognizing sometimes you just need a break. And I feel like this is where I need to be for now. And doesn't mean I'm going to be behind the chair for years to come because I'm probably not. But it's like, this is what I have to do right now to get me to build the steps to go where I want to go.
Yes,
So I'm
sweet.
happy with that.
Great. What is the biggest mistake you've made that actually taught you the most?
Is this in business?
Um, yeah, let's go business. Maybe not
Yeah.
the biggest, just maybe what is
Yeah.
a mistake that you've
Do you know?
made that's
Yeah.
taught you
Do you know what
this?
I would say would be quite impactful is remembering that like the small wins that are stacking up, and I would say, like I said, the the $1,100 a week thing was my busy week, like a whole week of work. Oh, I thought that was so good. And it's like now I'm like, how sad that you now get to well and truly like where you wanted to go. You're not like now you're up to the next level. So you want more money or you want more whatever it is. And it's like I literally skipped all them celebrations because you're too focused on what you don't have. So like you're not even being present in the now or like cheering yourself on for how far you've come. So it's so easy to be caught up in what's next, what's next. You don't actually look around, smell the roses, see what's going on. So that's probably one of my lessons, and that's something that I want to continue working on is actually appreciating and like being proud of yourself and being able to say confidently, fuck yeah, I'm doing great. And like recognize how far you've come. Cause I think it's easy to just, you're always like rushing to the next thing that you didn't even remember where you got like come from or like how you got there. So I think that's probably one of my biggest lessons. And it's something that I want to continue working on.
Are you doing that currently? Like
Yeah,
taking those small wins?
yeah, well, I would say more now, being a bit more like grateful because I think like practicing gratitude because I feel like a client actually said it a few weeks ago and it's actually stuck with me ever since. Because I have known like in the past I used to be a lot worse for it, but he actually made the comment. He's like, "You're always searching for something." Oh, that hit hard. I was like, thanks, bro. But it's actually made me think it's so true. Like, you're always just like, what's next? What's next? Like, fuck me. You work so hard. You wish that you could get to where you are now. And then you get there and then you haven't even noticed it. You're like, what's next? You're still like on to the next thing. It's actually really sad, to be honest. So it is something that I want to work on for sure.
Yeah, cool. What is one small thing in business that's made a big difference for you?
I would say probably the business coaches. And I would say lately, like I feel like I slacked off when it comes to throwing myself into that, to being honest. Just I guess with the mental burnout, I had a chat with them like Owen last week. And he's like, like you just got to ride the waves and stuff. But it's like that was probably like the moving point for where I was like, okay, I'm meant for more than this. So last year before I had started that, the partying, the wrong relationships, whatever. But I was really like, it was like, honestly, my business was a job that just paid really well for me to live however I wanted. I didn't actually see any future. That sounds really bad. I never thought there wasn't a future, but I didn't look that far ahead. And it was like, I was so busy and it becomes so repetitive and just like, yep, money, like money. And I always said that when I made more money, and I've always said this, I really hope money doesn't change you. And I feel like last year, hanging out with the wrong people, drinking, doing party substances. No, but
Substances.
just having a good time and don't get me wrong, there's awesome lessons like and memories. I, had a kid when I was so young. So it was like my 18-year-old self last year. But honestly, I can 100% say, and it's embarrassing to say the ego started to creep in. Like where you start making more money, you think you're so cool, hanging with the big dogs, But that is something that I'm just like, yuck. Let's not do that.
Yeah.
Stay humble, bitches.
I like it. What's something people don't realize about running your own business?
Do you know what? I honestly there's so many aspects of it that I'm like, if I knew all of it, I would probably be too, it'd put fear in me to start. With just like more than money. Like I said, like the reason why with the starting was more about the lack of money. But I would just say, like, fuck, people make it out to be this big thing. Like, and they actually, it scares you off starting. Just jump in and you just figure it out. It's actually crazy. Like, if anything, it's like, I wish more people just kind of gave it a go, if that makes sense. Like I know, you don't want everyone to be like that because then we'd probably never have staff members, but never have employees. But it's just one of them things. I feel like it's honestly not that hard. It's not rocket science. You got a skill or you have a product, sell it. Do you know what I mean? And then you just learn and then surround yourself with people who are wanting to evolve and grow like you.
And is that something you'd say to anyone thinking about starting a business or is looking at your stuff?
Yeah, I feel like you just got to have a strong why, first of all, why you're doing it. Because then when it does get hard and you are riding those waves, you can kind of picture that and be like, this is why I'm friggin' struggling right now. I'm pushing through. But then the other thing is just have, whether it honestly is a product, I obviously don't really have a product. The product is myself. You know, your skill set. If you have that, like, no matter where I move, I know like I'd probably be scared to take the change and like the leap of faith, but I'll do well anywhere I go because I can back myself because I know that I have the experience and like I know that I can provide a great service. So I think as long as you've got something like that, like you're good to go. Easy. And I wish that people kind of just like, I feel like people make it out to be this big hard thing and there's definitely hard things in it and there's a lot of new challenges, but it's not something that you can't work out. So I just feel like, you know, we make it out to be harder or bigger than it needs to be.
Do you feel like you're more confident now than when you started the business?
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
like backing yourself if you were
Yeah.
to move and something like that.
100%. I feel like when I first started the business, again, I started that and not feeling worthy. I didn't have money in the bank at all. I just had a baby. My child was still getting breastfed. He was like 5.5 months old, single. Like it was fucking scary. So I definitely wasn't like, I like was backing myself. And I feel like I always knew, like deep down, I knew I'd be good and I'd do well. But I definitely didn't have the confidence. I would say I was just winging it, completely winging it. And I didn't really have a vision. Like, again, I felt like the door opened. It opened at the right time, jumped in. So grateful for the opportunity. But it wasn't like, there wasn't a broad vision of like, I think there were over the years. Like, I remember when I was pregnant, I just had Grayson actually before I opened the shop. This was, mind you, I don't even know where this came from. I actually wrote down, stayed up till 4 a.m. Mind you, I've got a newborn. 4 a.m. researching like commercial leases in Townsville, looking up the barber chairs I would have and like breaking down the cost of it. Mind you, I had no money, so I don't know how I started. But it's just like, that time is always in me. Like, I did in Mackay, I started my other business name. Like, and I was going to open up a shop there. Like, it's always been in me to have my own business. It was just the backing myself, creating the opportunities myself, whether they were there or not. But just having the belief that I even was enough or worth doing, like backing myself for. Because I feel like I just sometimes felt like knew I could do it, but it felt so far from me. So I guess I didn't really feel worthy of those opportunities.
Interesting. How do you see the barber industry changing in the next few years?
I feel like it's probably just going to continue to scale. There's a lot more like solo operators is like a big thing. I think everyone's catching on. There's no friggin' money in being an employee. As much as I don't want to say that myself because eventually I want a team. But again, it's if you have a team, like it's something that I would be wanting to look at giving them, whether it's commission-based, percentage, whatever, just so that they can actually be more, like I said, than just a barber on a shit wage. You know, it doesn't pay enough. Life's expensive, especially for the life you want. You got families and it doesn't entice anyone to stay, especially anyone decent anyway. So I think if you like the next few years, I feel like so many people are just going to go out. Like look at all the young guys on like watching YouTube cuts, cutting in their garage. Then they're like TikTok famous, making crazy money, and they probably don't even like their skills aren't amazing, but they've got the hype around them, so people will go. This is like something I've always been told. No one knows the difference, and client will know the difference between a good haircut and a great haircut. So it's like, yeah, I think barbering is just going to keep going probably towards more people going out for themselves, making their own money, working on their own terms. That's the way it's going since COVID, I think. People working from home, wanting the flexibility, travel. I feel like it'll end up going that way.
Do you feel like the barber industry is based somewhat around hype and like
Yeah, 100%. Do you know when I literally, I think even the haircuts, coming in using all these weird terms. And I'm like, all these young kids from like TikTok, like, can you give me something good? I'm just like, bruh, like, it's just a normal haircut. And the only reason it looks like that is because he styled it. And it's just like all this crap that's coming through. And at the end of the day, you've got to stay relevant. So you do have to keep up with it. But it's just like, when I started, like I said, the hype wasn't as big, and then to see where it's come now, but then the generation coming through where it is all like TikTok and all that type of stuff, 100%, like it's very hyped up, and it's like everyone actually cares about how they look. It's cool to have a thing, so it's a good thing. Like it's great for barbering and business.
okay. What's been your proudest moment in business so far?
This is what I mean about like not appreciating the small wins. Because then when you think about it, you don't know.
Oh, cool.
No, I would say my proudest, I actually don't know.
Or do you have a proud moment where you look back,
Yeah.
even in the last year, where you go,
Okay,
"That
well, the last year, one of my things, which is kind of unrelated to the thing, was doing my podcast. Like, I only did one episode, so like a failed podcast. No. No, but did one episode. Didn't even know if I'd like the podcasting stuff. I actually friggin' loved it, but I haven't had a chance to do it again. But I didn't. It's just putting yourself in such an uncomfortable position, sharing vulnerable things about yourself, oversharing because I'm great at that. That is probably one of my favorite things I've done. I'd say in the last 12 months was like doing the podcast. I feel like that's where I definitely know I want more of like giving the impact to like leadership, building a team, training people. Like that showed me, wow, like I want to use my voice to help other people and encourage other people.
do you feel like being in an uncomfortable situation helps you grow?"
No,
Sick.
definitely. Sick, bro. No, definitely. I think you have to. Like, if you're comfortable, like, that's why it's so funny because a few opportunities have come up recently for me. And possibly in the future, I may act on them. But it's one of them things of like that moment where you know you're scared or like you're like doubting yourself is probably when you should freaking jump into it. Because it's like that's why so many people are still just in the middle because it's like the ones that get up there are the ones that took that like really scary opportunity or made the scary choice and then they've just elevated their life. So I feel like it's really good to be uncomfortable because you grow a lot. You have to back yourself. And it's like you're no longer just like winging it and just chilling. Just chilling. Like I feel like you've got to, because then you're kind of in survival, I guess, because it's like you've got to, like you can't fail. Like, so you just like this.
Like a rocket.